Hello, race fans, and welcome once again to another high-octane episode of Trackside, proudly presented by Document Technologies. Document Technologies provides a comprehensive range of managed solutions, including multifunction devices, managed print services, and document management software. They're also known for their fast service, boasting an average response time of 2 hours or less, and offer high-quality product multifunction devices alongside document management and cloud hosting software. Stay tuned, racing enthusiasts, because the action starts right now, right here on Trackside.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Exciting times. Welcome to Trackside. I'm Terry Turner alongside Randy Dye. Randy, I got a question for you. You ready?
Sure.
Poor Randy. After 15 plus years, I hit him like this. I really think we should have played the Rocky theme going into the program. Okay, go ahead and ask me why.
Yeah, I'm going to. Why?
I'm not going to tell you right now. I'm going to reserve the surprise for a little bit later. How about that?
Okay. All right. Whatever you say. There's no telling what that's all about, but okay.
Well, you know, ladies and gentlemen, we talk a lot about rolling into our 16th year and all that, and what a fun time we've had. Lots of great memories and fun stuff. As I learned to talk, that's happened over all these years. And tonight we're going to unveil something, and I think maybe Randy is most exciting announcement that we've ever done on the program. So that's the tease. Now, I ain't teasing on this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like right front tire 2 weeks in a row on the number 10 Xfinity car with Daniel Dye behind the wheel, and into the wall he goes. What the heck is going on?
Yeah, well, I think obviously in Iowa, we're still we maintain that there was something wrong with the tire. If you look at the way the car was set up, the car was actually free, which means it's working off the rear tire, not the front tire. And Daniel wasn't pushing the car. He was good, but he wasn't pushing the car, so he wasn't overdriving it. That's the point. And if you look at the tire off the car, so once we took it off, and you see, it just blew it blew a chunk out of the inside of the tire. It wasn't that it melted the bead and caused the tire to go down. It blew a hole out of the tire from the inside. So that's just that there's no, and I'll argue the point forever, but that is a faulty tire. In Watkins Glen, we're pretty confident he just ran over something, and that caused the issue. In fact, he did it twice. There was stuff out there, and it's not hard for you to get flat tires. There was lots of people that had flat tires in Watkins Glen. I think if you look at the race, it was pretty commonplace, and it's because debris gets on the racetrack, and it's not NASCAR's fault. I'm not blaming anybody. It's very difficult to detect the debris that some of it, if it's not big in quantity, doesn't have to be big to put a hole in a tire. And so that was kind of our Achilles heel. I don't think I don't think that Goodyear brought a bad tire. I don't think it was Goodyear's fault. I don't think it was the setup fault. I think it's just kind of what happens sometimes on a road course. You get debris that you can't see, and they don't throw a caution. You run over it. You get a flat tire over a couple of laps, and here you go. So that's really they're two things. 2 weeks in a row we have a tire problem, but they're for completely different reasons, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, at that speed, right front goes down, you lose handling, into the wall you go. Still a 17th place finish, but sure makes it rough. I was going to ask you too, the way that NASCAR has the road courses laid out, they really want the guys to stay inside on the racetrack, but they've got I forget the technical name for, I'm just going to call them turtles, the rough spots to on the corners, etc. To kind of keep you on the track and let you know when you're coming off the track, so on and so forth. How's that on tires? I mean, those guys, I see them.
Tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some interesting marks on the tires up and down pit road, kind of almost like cut marks, and so they were everybody's trying to figure that one out, and I don't know that I certainly didn't leave Watkins Glen having it resolved in my mind, but again, at least in this particular case, I don't know that that Missouri is a great place for company, but there was more than just us, and those marks were prevalent. So we don't know what was going on for sure, but it could be the way that maybe they ground the surface. I don't know, but there was, and they had some issues in the Cup race too, by the way. So it was, but I don't. I'm going to stop short this time of blaming Goodyear. I don't think it was a Goodyear problem. I think there was something else going on there.
Well, lots of beating and banging on that racetrack, like you said, lots of debris, no telling at that speed. You can't really see it. So anyway, it is frustrating, no doubt about it for the fans, because I'm a big fan. It's got to be frustrating for Daniel as well. I mean, we always compare Daniel's issues with Chase Elliott, although Chase Elliott's not having a great season this year. Can't seem to catch a break either. But let's do this, Randy. Let's go to a higher plane. And 16 years, whatever it is, long time on the program. For probably 13 or so of those years, sometimes teasing, sometimes ribbing you, trying to get results, pestering you about Dodge and NASCAR and why and when they're coming back, and you've talked about it, you've worked on it, and anyway, it's come to pass. We've got Ram trucks in the Truck Series next year, and the big surprise is there is something wonderful at your dealership. And I would like for you to tell the race fans listening to the show what it is that you have at the dealership.
Well, it's I'm not sure. I kind of pinch myself and make sure that it's real. I blink, it's still there when my eyes open back up. We were able to acquire the Craftsman Truck Series announcement vehicle that Ram used in Michigan on June the 8th for a special 10-day event here at the dealership that coincides loosely with the racetrack, with the Xfinity Series race and the Cup Series race here in Daytona. But to just get some enthusiasm, some excitement, make the truck available for at least our community and those around who want to come see it. A glimpse of it before the 26th season, and we put it right here in the middle of the showroom so folks could see it, take pictures. There's no rules except to say that we're not going to fire it up and take it for a ride. I mean, nothing like that. But I think at the end of the day, it was just it's hard to comprehend that it's here. I don't know what to say. It's been a long time, a lot of back and forth, and we don't have enough time on this show to be able to talk about all those last 13 years of trying to get back to this point. And in some ways, it's a very surreal feeling. I shake my head. I walk out there, and I help put it in there, and I'm walking around looking, and even to the point I actually helped get it built, and so that it could be used for the announcement and used for the commercials that you've seen on TV and all that stuff. But to have it sitting in the showroom here in Daytona is, I would have to be honest and tell you, I guess I'm a little bit in somewhat of a shock. I don't want to say that I never believed it would happen, because if I believed it wouldn't happen, I wouldn't have worked on it.
Right.
But there's
for
so
13
many,
years.
Yeah. But it's just it's so many people, so many things, so many different situations that had to happen to make this happen. We've been so close so many times before over those last 13 years, and for one reason or another, it didn't occur. But I'm grateful to have been a part of it. I'm grateful to NASCAR, the NASCAR community, the process that NASCAR has, and their willingness and the enthusiastic welcome and the assist in helping get it done. They were just amazing to be able to work with, and the manufacturer, the team in Auburn Hills. Those guys, you talk about heavy lifting. It's the most lean, efficient, hardworking, passionate group of people that I've ever met with regard to this industry. I'm just, it's a blessing to be able to talk to them and work with them, and not only in the whole racing thing, but man, I was in Pontiac, Michigan last Friday night, a week ago, afternoon, and for roadkill nights, and oh my goodness, what an experience that was for a car nut like me. The Dodge brand was back with gas engines and a charger, and not saying they're getting rid of the electric, but they're going to build a lot more gas engines and a charger with a 3.9 second 0 to 60 mile an hour, 12.2 second quarter mile, 177 mile an hour top speed. I mean, Durango Hellcat jailbreak over 800 horsepower. The V8 is standard in a Durango in 2026. It just, I just turned around and looked and said, well, Dodge is back. It's a whole lot more than racing. It's really an extension of the culture of a car company that is a performance car company, and the leadership there with Antonio. He is just he's a great guy. He's a protege of Sergio Marchionne. Tim Kuniskis, who I've oftentimes said is the craziest guy I've ever met in this industry, but in a good way. And his team, Tom Sackerman and Nate Bulow and others, Matt McAleer with Dodge. I go on and on and on and on. We won't get anything done if you actually keep me going. Those guys are the real reason why Ram is back in NASCAR.
Well, it's just incredible. There's no doubt about it. And, congratulations for your part on it. I know it's like a dream come true, and you did not give up. There were times when you could have, discouraged and so on and so forth, but hung in there. I won't say who, but I'll leave that to you. But you got a pretty amazing phone call from a couple of pretty amazing NASCAR people to congratulate you and talk about this rollout and everything. Can you say anything about that or no?
Well, I just say that the NASCAR family has really embraced this. They were, I think they were encouraging. They were. I hate to say this; it's going to sound maybe a little too soft, but in a way, they were nurturing. They understood what what we didn't understand. They understood that we didn't understand. They understood that they needed to help us understand certain things. And for that, I don't know how it could be any better. They're just clearly this benefits NASCAR. There's no doubt, but it benefits Ram, and it benefits. I personally believe it benefits the other OEMs that are in the sport, because it's going to give it is more attention, more people, more people will be watching, and so I think it's a win-win-win for everyone. I'm proud to be a part of it. I'm proud to represent some of the Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram dealers across the country, those who believe in this effort. And at the same time, I don't mind telling you, I still kind of shake my head, like, is this real? And it is. It genuinely is. But when you're a no count nothing redneck like me from Northwest Pennsylvania, this is a big moment.
Well, I don't know what the world would do without the no count rednecks. There's no doubt about that. As you know, I kind of honor those guys because I am one myself. But again, congratulations. You do have, really started yesterday a huge event going on. The Ram Jam event is happening. We at Kicks and Beach 92.7 both are very proud that we're going to be there for your tailgate party on August 21st from 5 to 7 p.m. This is a huge event. This means lots of fans will get to come out and see the vehicle and meet you and talk to you and help you celebrate, well, really history, Randy. I think you'd agree. But congratulations on this upcoming event as well. It's going to be huge.
We're excited to do that. One of the cool things, several cool things. Obviously, we'll have the truck here in the showroom. We're going to have Ram Demption, the monster truck here. And maybe the coolest of all is we're going to have probably 10 or 12 kids from the quarter midget track with their cars here, having a good time with us too. You just never, ever, ever, ever want to leave those guys out, and girls. There's boys and girls that are great racers, and they love the sport. And I think there's so much more to NASCAR racing than just the competition. That's the piece that always has been appealing to me. It's a family event. When I raced, I raced hard against people, and sometimes they'd break something, or sometimes I'd break something, and it was in the as we were warming up or practicing or qualifying, and we didn't have what we needed to get our car back on, we'd go borrow it from the guy we wanted to beat, and we all did that. When one of us hurt, the rest of us hurt. When one was happy, most of the rest of us were happy. Not always everybody, but I think I love the patriotism of the people who appreciate this sport. I love the fact that we honor God before we start the race, and we ask for His blessing to keep people safe, and we appreciate people. It's such a different mentality than you see in a lot of other circumstances in this country, and I think it's a positive environment. And yeah, every once in a while it goes sideways. It does, but they fix it, and they get it back in the right lane, and off we go. So it's way more than just racing. I think it's good for our business, the automobile business, and there's more to it for the consumer than just, if you're not a NASCAR fan. Because they're doing this, though, they're building performance parts for your cars and trucks that we haven't had in years and years and years. So it's just it's not as simple as going, oh man, we're going to go racing in February in 2026. There's a lot more to it, and I'm going to tell you, I will not tell you the name. I'm not going to do it. So don't try. But one of the people that's going to drive one of these trucks is going to rock your world.
And what'd you say his name was?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm telling you, I know. I was Friday afternoon last week. Somebody looked at me and said, "What do you think about?" And I said, "Of course, I'm going to ask." Was the reply later that afternoon? He said yes.
Oh my goodness!
So,
well, ladies and gentlemen,
stand by.
No telling what might be this secret. We'll let you know as soon as we can. No doubt about it. Again, though, fantastic. Congratulations. Ram Jam event going on right now. Big tailgate party on August 21st from 5 to 7 p.m. Radio station's going to be there. It's going to be awesome. And I was going to say, will Daniel Dye be able to make an appearance? Probably not. Any thoughts on that?
I think he's going to be here.
Oh,
this is kind of a little deal. It's a little bit different. I mean, it's tough because of the schedule, but his event's over the day before. But I think he's going to be here. I mean, he's been around the automobile business since. I mean, I'll start my 29th year as a dealer in Daytona on September 1st. Daniel's 21, so he's been around it his whole life. So, yeah. And he is a race fan, even though he's driving an Xfinity car for a different OEM. This is going to be Daniel Dye, the family member that's going to be here to see all this happen, and he's truly a fan. I mean, he loves the sport. You saw him when he was little. He was a fan, right?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember him jumping up and down for Dale Jr. at the Daytona International Speedway. And yes, I remember very clearly. No doubt about that. Well, this is awesome stuff, and I'm so proud, of course, of you and what you've done, and of course of Dodge. And I just hope the factory, Randy, can supply you with enough Ram trucks, because the truck sales are going to. I know they've already begun to grow, but they're gonna. You're going to have some real success selling trucks. Let me ask you a question then before we move to local. Can you still get a Dodge Ram in just a 2-door short bed?
No, but there's some stuff you're going to want to pay attention to. I can't tell you. You're not going to believe this. You're just not going to believe this. And I literally, I'm not trying to be coy. You got to understand that in this particular case, I have to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, and so I can walk up to the line, but I can't step over it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we would all, in anticipation of all these things coming up, it's going to be big time anticipation, because we've already seen that the corporation behind Dodge knows how to market. So we're going to wait and see, and this sure is fun, no doubt about that. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we've almost blown through half the show. Let's go see what's going on with the local part of Trackside.
One Daytona, located across from the world's center of racing, is proud to present our local segment, where we talk with a local star in your part of the country following a big win, event preview, and much more. One Daytona in Daytona Beach is a vibrant destination offering an array of shopping, dining, and entertainment options, including unique events and live music suitable for families and individuals alike.
Volusia Speedway Park continues to get ready for the big Labor Day Classic coming up August 29th through the 31st, and we're all looking forward to that dirt track action. The Modified Challenge Twin 35s were rained out at New Smyrna Speedway, but hope to be back in action on Saturday night. With the Super Late Model Series Twin 50s, you'll see the Super Lates in Features 1 and 2, also Sportsman, 602 Mods, and Bomber Bs. And a great time was had by all at Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola. Last Friday night, we've got some winners here for you. In the Demo Derby, Don Meyer. In the Northwest Crown Stocks, Jason Lang Sr. In the Pure Stocks, Mason Johnston. In the Modified Series, Jason Bishop. In the Crown Stocks, Doug Thorpe Jr. And the Sportsman, Charles Davis. Five Flags back in action on Friday, August 29th with Pro Lates, Pro Trucks, Sportsman, and Crown Stocks. In NASCAR last week at Watkins Glen. In the Truck Series, Corey Heim gets a win. The Xfinity Series, Connor Zilic, another win. And we will be discussing Connor's injury later in the program. In the Cup Series, another win on the road course for Shane Von Gisbergen. The trucks are at Richmond tonight at 7:30 on Fox Sports 1. Cup Guys on Saturday in Richmond also at 7:30. That's on USA Network. Xfinity Guys off this week. Back next week on Friday night at the Daytona International Speedway. That's at 7:30 on CW. All right, good stuff. Let's roll right on into the truck race, or to the truck section before we go to break. So here we go in the trucks.
The Tough Trucks of NASCAR are next up on the agenda, presented by Aaron Delgado and Associates. With over 110 combined years of experience in criminal defense and personal injury, Aaron Delgado and Associates takes pride in vigorously representing clients in various challenging legal situations within the community. Now, let's go trucking.
Randy, this is a fun one I haven't seen before. The only penalty from the 2025 NASCAR race weekend at Watkins Glen International was to the number 99 Craftsman Truck Series team of Ben Rhodes. Loss or separation of an improperly installed rear axle from the event that came loose during the event. Crew member Marshall Hill has been suspended for the next Craftsman Truck Series Championship points event, of course, at Richmond, going on here just shortly. But that's one I haven't heard before, Randy.
Well, it's usually what happens. Maybe this is usually what happens is they're trying to gain an advantage. So when you see stuff like this, they're trying to get the axle to move with the car through the turn to help it get through the turn better. So. And it's not, when I say move, I'm not talking about 6 inches now. I'm talking about just little bit of movement that's forward and backward. Sometimes it's lateral movement to help the car through the corners. So what shows up is if it fails, if the way they did it fails, then it'll be that what you just read the rule, the improperly installed. And they don't say that it's because you meant to cheat. They just say it wasn't done right, and that's the advantage you're trying to gain. Very rarely is it because somebody made a error or didn't do something. There's always an attempt to gain an advantage when these kinds of things happen.
A little surprising there was no fine attached to this penalty.
Yeah. Well, they're giving them the benefit of the doubt that they couldn't clearly define that they were gaining an advantage. But sometimes, like as an example, sometimes there's not a need for a penalty because the penalty itself is the failure, right? I mean, or I'm talking about a fine because the failure cost you money.
Exactly.
So they don't pile on top of it. Bottom line.
All right. Well, that's a good thing. But again, that's a new one. And we hadn't seen much penalties for a little while, so that's good news. Lots of crazy racing on the racetrack with no penalties. Carson Quapple is going to drive the CR7 Motorsports truck at Richmond, and this is a young guy that's making his way in the 97. Michael Shelton will serve as the crew chief. So, do you know this young man?
Well, he's the. If you look at the Quaffles, there's a bunch of them, and so he's the youngest. I'm pretty sure of that. And he's an up and comer. And so this is the next step. It's hard to say that these series are different. Once upon a time, the Truck Series was for. I think it was for seasoned veterans. Sometimes, I think in some ways even it was developed for the NASCAR Cup guys who didn't want to run the 36, really it's 38 when you take the two exhibition races, season schedule. But it's more of a younger development series, although there's a pretty good mix. And then, but the cars really are different. So you don't have the same. The truck doesn't drive like the Xfinity car, and an Xfinity car doesn't drive like the Cup car. And so they're really just different now. They're not. You don't automatically say, well, the truck is the place to start, because that's not necessarily true. And you don't say that the trucks are the place that you move up from, because that's not necessarily true.
Right.
It's just different. So anyway.
Well, this Richmond marks the return of the 97. It hadn't been in competition since 2024. So good to see him back. Caleb Costner is going to join Mike Harmon Racing at Richmond. Caleb Costner is going to be the driver at Richmond, and he is an owner in the ARCA series, actually for the last 5 years. So looks like this young man, even though an owner in ARCA series, is going to try to take his career to the next level, and we'll see him racing in the race at Richmond. So another young warrior coming up.
Yeah, I think I like it. I like this series a lot. I think it's just fun, hard racing. There's a lot of it is what you just said. I mean, there's guys that are quote unquote coming up, and they're trying to show everybody that they're worth watching and investing in. There's, by the nature of the races themselves being shorter than certainly a Cup Series race, you don't have the time to just ride around. You got to go, and so that creates some action. So it's I've always, and I think you and I have all agreed, most of us for years have always appreciated the Truck Series.
Oh, you're guaranteed excitement when the truck race, like you said, it's shorter, and you got to go, and a lot of times more exciting than the Cup race in some instances, and a lot of great drivers, young and old, in that series. So, yeah, a great series, no doubt. With that, let's take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a lot to cover. We'll roll right into Xfinity when we come back. You're listening to Trackside. Don't go anywhere.
Introducing the all-new tractor and outdoor power equipment section at DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors. Now you can gear up for your outdoor projects with premium brands like Bobcat, Massey Ferguson, Shindaiwa, Echo, and more. Need a powerful lawnmower for that perfectly manicured lawn? They've got it. How about a rugged tractor to tackle those big projects? DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors has you covered. And let's not forget the Lawn and Garden Center with everything from weed whackers to chainsaws. Commercial or residential, DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors has the goods to keep you moving. So why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary? Visit DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors today at their new location and explore the thrilling world of outdoor power equipment. DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors, where the thrill of the ride meets the power of the great outdoors. Your journey begins here.
Welcome back to Trackside as we now take a look under the hood in the NASCAR Xfinity Series presented by Daytona's Garage. Daytona's Garage offers more than just standard dealership customization. They provide a comprehensive range of services for personalizing and enhancing cars, Jeeps, and trucks of any make and model, focusing on both aesthetics and performance with affordability. Reliable service. Now, back to Terry and Randy.
Randy, I want to touch base on ratings for the Xfinity race, for a good reason. I mean, based on what you've just now talked about. And we look at, these young warriors, Connor Zilisch and others in the Xfinity Series, of course, coming up in the Truck Series, as we just discussed. And I would imagine we're going to see the ratings are good in the Truck Series. We're going to see some even better ratings next year. I think the return of Ram is going to make a big difference in the spotlight and the marketing that's going to be done and has been done and going to be done. It's going to make a big difference there as well. But I'll just kind of read through this. It's really amazing. The CW Network, which we discuss all the time, they're doing a great job. Cracked 1 million viewers for Saturday's Mission 200 at Watkins Glen. Viewership netted out at 1,096,000. And it even says a lot of folks watching Connor Zilisch. It's the most watched Xfinity race, Randy, at Watkins Glen since 2018. And compared to last year's Watkins Glen race in September, viewership increased by 41%. It was better. It was 54% better than the 23rd race in the 2024 season, held at Darlington Raceway in late August. And then viewership peaked in the closing laps to 1,468,000 total viewers. So, I mean, this is incredible. It just goes to show, and you really have touched on it in the Truck Series, of all these great young drivers coming up, and new people watching the sport, and all the marketing, and Ram, again, just one of them. This is just great news.
Well, I hope, so number one, congratulations to the CW Network. Congratulations to NASCAR. And I truly hope that the success of the CW Network and Xfinity together is something that they'll pay attention to. I think it's pretty special to see this continued growth, but I think it's got to be more than, oh, that's fun and high five and celebrate and that. You have to analyze it and understand it and see how you can use it in the other series. And I kind of probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to anyway. I would love to see the CW Network cover them both, but cover the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series, and do it with the same level of consistency, and then maybe then the Cup Series could somehow get a more well-defined, consistent schedule and where you can find them mentality. I find it, but I hear from people all the time. I mean, the day of the race, I get text message after text message. Hey, where can I find? Where's the race? Where's the Cup Series race? What channel? What time?
Exactly.
It's a constant conversation, and so we got to do a better job.
Exactly. There's no doubt about it. Again, this example will hopefully, as we've seen many times, good examples happening in this sport, and it carries on. So let's do hope that happens. Randy, I watched the video over and over again. Connor Zilisch celebrating the win, and looks like his foot got caught in the window net and flipped him. I mean, it's amazing. His injuries weren't any worse than they are. It is not. His scans have come clean. No serious concussion. He does have a broken collarbone. There was lots of talk about limiting victory lane celebration. And if you look at Shane's celebration at the end of the Cup race when he won, it was a lot more subdued. But a major injury, I don't think anybody knows. And here's another thing about Von Gisbergen. I get more and more respect for him, and not only a great road course driver, but just his attitude in the sport. And he came out big time to support Connor, and because Shane himself injured himself, broke his collarbone in a mountain bike accident right before a big event, and had a plate put in, and is telling Connor, hey, I went through this. If you do a plate, which I believe they're going to do a plate, the seatbelts hurt a little bit, but you can go through it. So he set an example, and I'll just roll all this together and let you comment. So all of that happened. I mean, I got to admit, I'm a pretty tough old guy, but watching this over and over just near brought me to tears just to see this young man fall like that. It could have been so much worse. But in the race, which was extremely exciting, and if we have time, we can talk a little bit about Austin Hill and another wreck there. But Connor wrecked his teammate in the 9, Von Gisbergen. Junior came out and was not happy about it. Said, hey, this young man's a great race car driver, but he still makes mistakes. So I'll let you comment on all these parts and pieces, Randy.
Well, let's start with his injury. Number one, I don't think legislating from the sanctioning body about how you celebrate a victory is, I just don't agree with that at all for any reason. They do burnouts with cameramen on the racetrack, and so are we going to not have the cameraman on the racetrack? Because that guy's probably in more jeopardy than the driver getting out of the car dancing on the roof or the hood of the car. So this, remember, I would say, is a freak accident. It's very unique. In my entire life, I've never seen the driver get hung up. Like, his problem was, it wasn't that he just got stuck. He got hung up. He couldn't get free. So, they have to put the window net on the outside of the race car, in my opinion, and then you'd have a lot better shot at avoiding this. I do think it's incumbent upon the driver to do his very well best to stay safe. But let's be honest, when Carl Edwards used to win races, he used to do a backflip off the door of the car, and nobody ever fussed and carried on about that now, right?
No, true.
So if we were going to change the way we celebrate race victories, we should have done it back when Carl Edwards was doing his backflip off the side of the door several years ago. We had opportunity, but no, we didn't, and we didn't because nothing happened. Nothing bad happened. No injuries. So I think as bad as this is, and Connor Zilic, I was there, man, and we were all worried. And Daniel and Connor Zilic are friends, and it rattled Daniel pretty good. There was, as you know, when these things happen, there's a lot of rumors and talk, and we instantly heard the ambulance coming. So it was bad. It was bad stuff. Okay, but we're glad he's okay, and he's going to be able to race again. And I'm sure there'll be a different way to celebrate. But no, not in favor of any NASCAR regulation about how we celebrate the victory. As far as Dale Jr.'s comments go, I agree with him. I think Connor is arguably the best road course racer we have in the sport today. I don't care. I mean, now, I'm not saying he's going to be able to get in a cup car and go do it like he's done it, because he hasn't done that yet. He hasn't had the success in a cup car on the road courses. But certainly within the Xfinity Series, he's the best road racer we got. And Shane Van Gisbergen is probably the second best. I think Connor suffers a little wee bit from the same thing that a lot of these young guys think, that if you can't pass them, you got to wreck them or move them. And sometimes if you're going to move somebody, wrecks happen. So I think Dale Jr. is simply saying, I think what he's really saying is, you're good enough, you didn't have to do that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I would agree, no doubt about it. And especially to a teammate. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he's without a doubt. I mean, if I was a race car driver today, and somebody said, "Well, who would you want? Who's the best super speedway racer?" You'd say, "Blah blah blah." That's who I want to be like. Who's the best, short track racer? Blah blah blah. I got this guy over here. Who's the best road course racer? It's Connor Zilic. I want to be like. I want to be that good.
Right.
Yep.
Well, it was an exciting race. There's no doubt about it. Luckily, and I have no idea, and no one does, I guess, at this point. Will this affect his championship run? What's it going to do to the rest of the season? Lots of questions. Will he be back in the car sooner than we think? A lot of questions I guess no one knows the answer to. Luckily, he's a young guy. They heal, young guys heal quickly. Apparently, they're going to do the plate and all that. I mean, can he still be there in the championship, Randy?
Yeah, I think he can. I mean, there's 10 races left. He'll probably get. They'll ask and be granted a waiver, and yeah, I think so. Now I'm going to tell you, he's a standout when it comes to the road course races. He's not as much of a standout when it comes to the circle track stuff. Good for sure, but he sets the standard in the road course stuff, and he's very, very good in the rest of it.
Right. Randy, before we move to Cup, lots of talk about drivers pushing the limits. We saw the Xfinity race, we saw both races, lots of pushing the limits. Austin Hill, no one's really said, okay, that wreck was Austin Hill's fault. I looked at the tapes over and over again. Looks like he was bumping him several times, and then maybe by accident hooked him. But these guys definitely are pushing the limits. And Steve Letarte, for an example, came out with quite a statement that, we're going to keep on pushing it like this, and something bad's going to happen. A comment before we go to the Cup Series.
I think that the most disappointing part to me in all of what happened at Watkins Glen with regard to the 11 and the 21 was it doesn't seem to me that the timeout did any good. Every time you're in a race, you have to understand, every time you're in a race, there's always a situation, and you have a decision to make. You can decide to lift, you can decide to brake, or you can decide to hammer down and not give an inch. And it would, in my opinion, he should have made the decision to give. It would have said to the racing community that he learned something from the timeout. Everybody would have continued to the next corner and had a shot. I think Austin Hill was faster than the 11 in that time. I believe he was going to get him. They didn't need to have that incident. So I'm disappointed because I think Austin Hill is talented. I just think sometimes he's not aware of the circumstances like he should be. I'm grateful that nobody got hurt. I'm glad that Michael McDowell was fine. I don't think Michael McDowell could have won the race, but I believe he might have finished in the top 5. And more importantly, to Steve Letarte's point, that was close to something bad happening right there.
Yes. A lot of tore-up cars. There's no doubt about that. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, let's roll right into the Cup section of the program.
UniFirst presents Conversation about the NASCAR Cup Series, the pinnacle. In auto racing, just like Cup, UniFirst is also the leader of the pack as the uniform and facility service experts. Let's go back to our hosts, Randy and Terry.
Randy, I'm scratching my head on this one. Maybe you can give me some insight. Colleague Racing is a great team, and they are going to participate in a couple of races in the Cup Series with the number 10, with DraftKings as a big sponsor. Their logo all over the car. Okay, that's great. But I'm trying to figure out, this is going to be at St. Louis and Kansas City, or Kansas Speedway. Ty Dillon is going to be the driver in the Cup Series at the number 10 for Colleague Racing. Help me, of all the drivers out there, help me understand why I do. To me, if we're looking at his record, and I did before I decided to make any statement in the Cup Series, why Ty Dillon?
Well, he's currently the contracted driver for the number 10. He had for Colleague Racing. He has been this year. Colleague Racing has an affiliation with Richard Childress Racing. They get their engines from RCR. Ty Dillon is Richard Childress's grandson. And so I think you start to figure out that part of this is the connection. And I think Ty's had some good races. And by the way, I'm not disagreeing and taking you to task over what you said. He really hasn't had the success that he wants, that the team wants, that RCR wants. But if you look at that whole program, if you think about the 10 and the 16 at Colleague Racing, and then you look at the 3 and the 8 at RCR Racing, I would just have to say, to be fair, there's a lot of room for improvement for the entire program, and
right.
So I don't know if it's Ty Dillon, but then it has to be Kyle Busch, and it has to be Austin Dillon, and it has to be A.J. Allmendinger. And I think it's more, my opinion, it's more the RCR program needs some work, and I think they know it. The cars aren't fast enough,
Right.
so they have to find some speed someplace for sure, no doubt about it. I agree. I don't know that I agree that it's specifically on the shoulders of Ty Dillon. I think it's more on the colleague pushing RCR and RCR trying to push itself to get themselves in the same level as a Hendrick, as a Joe Gibbs Racing, as a Penske Racing, because they're definitely not there.
Well, we even mentioned last week that Richard Childress himself stated to the public that we need to get some race cars. So
Yep,
we'll watch
that's
that
right.
and see what happens. It is what it is. Hey, a closing statement. This is another big one, and I'll just kind of go from the press release. Today, NASCAR announced Onduril, is a renowned defense products company, and they're going to be the presenting sponsor of the San Diego weekend and the NASCAR Cup Series Street Race entitlement partner of the new event at the Naval Base Coronado on June 19th through the 21st, 2026. So they're going to be the main sponsor, and they're going to participate as we go into the season as well. This is all going to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States Navy. But this is a big deal for a sponsor like this, military contractor, to come aboard and be the official defense sponsor for NASCAR for this big weekend and then into the season. This is huge. Again, a huge advancement. I think this is going to be a very successful race and series at this base in San Diego. This is some more great news, Randy.
I think how appropriate. I mean, my gosh, right? I mean, you're going to go to a naval base and you got a defense contractor going to be the sponsor for the event. That's just awesome. How much better does it get than that? And I love Coronado. Been out there. Love San Diego, Marina Point. It's where Navy SEAL training occurs. It goes on and on and on. It's not necessarily what you think about when you think about San Diego, but it's something that I think about. I know I have a lot of friends out there. We do work with Beyond the Brotherhood, which is a Navy SEALs organization who help those guys, and you know all that. So I'm looking forward to this.
Big time. I think it'll be a huge success. We're going to close. We have a question from Danica, and she says, in light of how these young drivers are driving these days and some of the things that we've seen at the racetrack of late, with this announcement to the defense contractor, will guns be installed on some of the cars? Ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to close with that one, and we'll leave it to your thoughts. Have a wonderful weekend. We appreciate you being here with us on Trackside. We hopefully will see you next week.
See you at the racetrack, everybody.
And with the checkered flag waving, we're wrapping up this week's edition of Trackside. Fear not, race fans, because we'll be back next week, proudly presented by Document Technologies. Tune in for a fresh new episode packed with engaging interviews, captivating conversations, and all the exhilarating moments you've come to expect. Until then, keep the racing spirit alive, and we'll see you next time on Trackside.